Well, how are you doing, Paul? I'm just fine. We're down here in Tucson, Arizona. Well, it was warm, nice and warm today, and we are fixed to put on a show here in about 30 or 40 minutes, and then we're going to light out to Oklahoma City. That's 1,000 miles away. Had a good time, Paul. We've worked from Nashville all the way up to Seattle, Washington, down to San Diego, California. And now we're on our way back on the southern route, getting back to Nashville. We've played on this tour. I've been on 21 days. We've played 3 college towns, and the folks at the colleges seems to like what we did and what we do. And certainly we're just looking forward to a whole lot of work. We're working real good in May. And we wind up in Memphis, Tennessee on the 20th. And we're going back to Kentucky from May to 21st, and I'll be home for a few days.
This new album you have, it's self-titled, Charlie Louvin.
Well, that is correct, and I'll say right up front, we're real proud of it. It's got a dozen good songs in it, and it's been a long wait getting it out. It took nearly a year to get it recorded and mixed, and get all the guests on it and everything, but it's out there now. Wherever records are sold, it should be there. Well, I don't have a record in front of me, Paul. I sold the last one I had last night in San Diego, but got the Tweety's on there, and he's a pretty good size artist.
Jeff Tweedy.
And the boy that worked with Wilco, that used to work with Uncle Tupelo, he's on it. Joy Lynn White. Of course, George Jones is on the album, and
Tom T. Hall.
And Bobby Bear. And we got a couple of songs of the Carter family. One song of the Elmore Brothers, a song of Jimmy Rogers, and then 4 or 5 of tunes that I cut. Christian Life, Drunkard's Plea. We got the Knoxville Girl on it. And all in all, it's a pretty darn good album, Paul. We appreciate your help on it.
I Don't Believe You Met My Baby.
Yeah, that was an awful good one. I wanted to just throw this in right quick before I forget it. I want to say thank you very much for enjoying the Louvin Brothers music, and I hope that your listeners does. By the way, you folks is listening out there, if you like what Paul's playing, give him a buzz or drop him a letter. And, of course, if you don't like what he's playing, well, write him anyway and tell him that. He'll play whatever you would like to hear, I'm sure. That's exactly right. We played everywhere that they would allow us to play, and finally we won an amateur contest in 1943, and the first prize was a 15-minute radio show at about 4:30 in the morning, Eastern time zone in Chattanooga, Tennessee, and that hooked us good. We was first state we played out of Chattanooga was in Jasper, Tennessee, and we made as much money that night as we could make working a whole week in the cotton mills and the woolen mills in Chattanooga and there in the edge of Georgia. And I guess that ruined us, so we promised to stick with it through thick and thin. It got pretty thin a few times, but we stuck with it, and it paid off, Paul. Well, the pleasure's all mine, Paul. I'm riding through some of the most beautiful scenery that you ever looked at. Big mountains on our right, desert on our left. The sun is shining, and I guess it must be well above 70 degrees. About 80 degrees here in Tucson. It'd be the place to go on a vacation, I'll tell you. The band's doing fine. They're setting up the instruments while I go to local radio I'm going to KIIS for an interview. It's a public radio So we're doing all we can out here. We had real good luck where we've been.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, I sold out of records last night, and they're shipping me some to Oklahoma City. We'll be there in Oklahoma City day after tomorrow. So then I'll have records again anyway. Well, my first record when I became a solo artist was a Bill Anderson song, I Don't Love You Anymore. And then we went on to have Think I'll Go Cry Myself to Sleep and Will You Visit Me on Sunday? Toast to Mama. A whole bunch of good things, Paul, enough to keep me on the road working while my wife Betty was home raising the family.
See the big man cry, Mama?
Well, that's true. Ed Bruce wrote the song, and I got to be the first to record it, and it did quite well. It's kind of our theme song, or the last song we do on the stage shows. Paul, I'll just say that it's my privilege to be on your show. That I know this is the second one. I wanted you to get all the bugs worked out so that we could go back and forth on this telephone. But we'll be looking forward to seeing you when you get to Nashville again. And I guess I better go because we're pulling up to the other radio station now, and I got to go ahead and do a little flop in my
all right.
jaws